that are doing amazing things while serving God and humanity in the process. Join us on Ask Mother this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us to hear each amazing journey these young people are pursuing. Please like, share, and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube and other media outlets as well as AskMother.net. We look forward. Ask Mother presents Lisa Anakwenze. Lisa has earned a Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology from St. John's University in Jamaica, New York, a Master's of Public Health with a focus on global health leadership from the University of Southern California, Los Angeles, California, a Master of Science, Physiology and Complementary and Integrative Medicine from Georgetown University, Washington, D.C. She will earn her medical degree in 2024 from the University of Louisville School of Medicine in Louisville, Kentucky. Lisa is the CEO of More Out of Life, LLC. She serves as the incoming president of the Kentucky Medical Association and American Medical Association Medical Student Section of Louisville, co-president of the Integrative Medicine Interest Group, Student National Medical Association Liaison, and a student representative of the University of Louisville School of Medicine Anti-Racism Task Force. She is a global community health analyst, physiology, complementary, and integrative medicine trained professional, certified transformational nutrition coach, certified ACSM group exercise instructor, Tivity health instructor, CDC, DPP lifestyle fitness, community health, global health, holistic health, research, education, social justice, African history, and music. She aims to promote vitality and concepts of mind, body, soul health, and wellness. She loves working in a field that is completely dedicated to uplifting people to their highest potential. Lisa feels that having the opportunity to play a role in reducing pain and suffering while empowering people to attain their health and wellness goals is rewarding, inspiring, and humbling. Ask Mother welcomes Lisa Anakwenze.
Oh, welcome to Ask Mother. And this is our third installment on our Youth Week. And we have a wonderful,
Okay, you're right.
and we have a wonderful young woman that I'm proud to call my great niece, who is here today and who you will find, as I do, to be a phenomenal young woman who is destined to be a tremendous impact in our community. And we'll talk more about that. Lisa, welcome to Ask Mother. Welcome to Youth Week. And we're here today wanting to know just a little bit more about you, and so that you can project yourself to the community of the world. Okay, so you are third from a family of four children. And tell us a bit about your family of origin, starting with your parents and kind of going down.
Yes. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me, and thank you for allowing me to be part of such an amazing movement and a journey. I think that this is really just spectacular.
Thank you.
Yes. So like you said, I am the third of 4 children. I always say it worked out perfectly, 2 boys, 2 girls.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed, we'll see if that works out for me too. So my mom is from Louisville, Kentucky, and my dad is from Abagana, Nigeria. And so a lot of people kind of along the way always ask me, well, how did that happen? How can that work? Mm-hmm. And through my parents, I was really able to see a lot of this kind of interesting overlap and kind of like the story of, African and African diaspora culture and how they meet together. And I always think about my mom as just a traditional, solid, good Southern woman. And I think having those strong values, being raised in the South, really kind of helped to bridge that cultural gap. And so it's kind of like, even though literally, my dad also speaks another language, but it's like they speak the same language when it comes to marriage and certain values. So that's been a very interesting journey.
Well, that's wonderful. And both of your parents are physicians, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Talk to me about that and the influence that obviously they've had in your life.
Oh, yeah. So they have an interesting story. They met in undergraduate, and then they actually got married in undergraduate, and they attended the same medical school together. And so, again, it's just been interesting to even observe them both being physicians. They're both family practice physicians, but they both practice differently. And so that taught me about kind of the wide spectrum of approaches that you can have with patient care and interactions. And it kind of helped to expand the scope of how I feel that I can one day become a physician. They both have served their whole life in underserved communities, predominantly communities of color. And so that was also ingrained in us from a very young age, to make sure that we go back to the people that need us and that we can be a positive voice and advocates for our community, and for people that may or may not look like us, but where we can, still understand the struggle and lend any service wherever we can.
Well, that's wonderful. And that, I think, is going to bring me to our next question about why holistic medicine.
Yes. So I think that honestly, it's been an interesting journey, both for myself personally and professionally. So personally within myself, I had just minor instances that really taught me about the value of holistic health. For example, I've had asthma all of my life. And sometimes when I would have asthma attacks as a child, the school nurse would tell me to, watch your breathing, drink some water, things like that. When I would go hiking with my siblings, I found this plant close to my house that when you inhale, basically it kind of has a tea tree type of smell. So it works in a similar way where it's going to help to basically open up your respiratory system and allow you to be able to breathe a little bit easier. So kind of making those kind of interesting connections kind of drove me into wanting to understand both, pharmaceuticals, but also, well, what are these things that exist outside of just pharmaceuticals, outside of, just a simple prescription and a 15-minute consultation with your physician that can also impact your health. And one of those things is also spirituality. So then academically, that drove me to pursue a master's degree in complementary and integrative medicine. And again, working in public health and watching my parents work as physicians, I noticed certain encounters that especially my mom would have with patients where she'd almost be more like that auntie that cares. And sometimes a lot of the healing came outside of, again, just that prescription that was written, but it was with advice and lifestyle changes that really encouraged people to do more. And I think, especially if we're going to talk about the Black community or if we're talking about underserved communities, I think that we have to really kind of take our power back and build the tools that we have to impact our health now, and do as much as we can. And that's really where holistic integrative medicine comes into play, because it's able to give people a voice and an opportunity to take charge.
Wonderful. And so now you can go ahead and speak to us about your coast to coast educational journey. I call it.
Most definitely. So, of course, so I was born and raised in Los Angeles County, California,
Mhm.
and I went to undergraduate in New York City. The only time I had gone to New York prior to that was just that summer when I was visiting schools to choose which school I would go to. So that was my only New York experience. Didn't know what I was getting into. When I went to visit that first time, we tried to ride on the subway. We walked down there. The subway map just looked like a foreign language, and we just walked back up and we just lost in the city. So I knew nothing about New York. That's what I'm trying to explain. But I think that was one of the best things that could have happened to me, because it allowed me to have to learn so much more about myself. It allowed me to learn so much more about other cultures, other types of people, lifestyle, and struggles and opportunities that are available to different people. From there, I spent a little bit of time in Waco, Texas. If anybody knows about Waco, Texas, real small town, not too much to do there besides like Walmart and Baylor. And so that also, taught me better or worse. I won't throw any shade for those Waconians that are about, but it's always better or worse, about what I need to feel supported and the types of environments that I like to be in. And then I did my complementary and integrative medicine degree in DC, which was pretty cool. Again, I just basically take every opportunity that I have to be in a new place to just kind of learn about the new landscapes, opportunities, how this story of health kind of connects based on, your zip code, what resources are available and aren't available, and what is like the common trend, because I think that's the most important thing. So DC was an interesting place as well. So I took in those experiences. And then now I am in medical school in Louisville, Kentucky. Thankfully, I had been able to visit Louisville before I started school. And of course, I have some family there, which makes it great. It's been an interesting time starting medical school, because they call us, the COVID-19 pandemic class. So, we've had to struggle with having a lot of things online. But from what I've been able to see of Louisville, it's been a really amazing place, and interesting, and I would say even surprising for people that don't know it. And that's one of the things that I think I take from kind of my intercoastal experiences with most value. A lot of people will judge places without knowing anything about them. But I think that every single location, every single individual person has something of value to offer. So you just have to be open-minded, willing to learn, willing to explore.
Oh, okay. And so you have definitely done that.
Yeah.
and I think that it's helping to shape you into what your ultimate career will be, because you're going to have a lot of things to pull from life experiences. That's really good. And you also are a business owner.
Yes.
You're a student activist. You're a transformational nutrition coach, just to name a few. Now, so how do you keep all this going with the demands of medical school?
Yes. So, of course, with medical school, I can't devote my time full time to working. I do have some other individuals that are able to help to keep things going. And then I've also had to kind of just, restructure how I allocate things. And I've tried to build it in so that I can also incorporate certain aspects of my business into medical school as well. So for example, part of my company, which is called More Out of Life, part of what we do is fitness, group exercise classes. So when I have free time, after exams and things, then I teach, group dance fitness. We also offer virtual meal plans, which that doesn't really conflict too much with my academic schedule. When we have time based again on school schedules and things, that we do some events, but also that's been impacted with COVID as well. So I guess starting with COVID kind of had already impacted a few things as well.
Okay, talk to me about the name of your business. Why'd you spell it that way? Explain that. Yeah.
So it's More Out of Life, MOOR. And so that's really to kind of pay homage to the Moorish people of Northern Africa.
Mhm.
And to some people, they also consider Moors basically to mean people of color.
Color. Yeah.
So for me, I really took kind of honoring the Moors as a way to kind of uplift all people of color, because the Moors had great scientific advancements, military excellence, sanitary improvements in the region and also in Europe. And so I took the name More Out of Life to kind of say, you know, people of color, even if you've been marginalized, minoritized, you've been put down, you've been stereotyped, you can accomplish great things. Let's band together and let's get more out of life.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. You tell me, how has your faith in God helped to keep you focused and grounded?
I would say that that's probably one of the key things that allowed me to continue on this journey, especially depending on, everybody has their own kind of, you know, ups and downs and everything. When you're trying to get into medical school or the medical field, sometimes it can be very demoralizing and frustrating. For most people, it's an extremely humbling experience. And for me personally, so many people told me that I couldn't do it. Like, just point out, give up. You should go into this instead. There's no way you're ever gonna get in. There's no way you're ever gonna make it. You can't do this. So
Tell me, hold just a minute. How could someone have the audacity to tell a brilliant young woman that? Talk to me about that. Where did that come from? Who told you that? Auntie. That's the auntie speaking. That's your auntie talking. Who told you that?
Yeah, honestly, it's been multiple people, different at different levels, undergraduate, university levels, graduate school levels, independent advisors, almost each step of the way. So I think that a lot of the time, advisors for any college major, but especially if you're a pre-med advisor, etc., you feel, this is just me thinking maybe this is where they're coming from. So many people apply to medical school, there are only a few slots. So if there's a chance that somebody's not going to get in, you don't want them to waste their time, because it's a very expensive process and it's very difficult. And the truth is that plenty of people won't make it. So that's me, you know, trying to be as understanding as possible. But yes, I do think that it's really more harmful to tell someone that they can't in an absolute when you don't have any actual authority over their life. So what I tell students that are interested in medicine, that I talk to, I tell them, this is your journey. It might be difficult, but if you're committed to it, this is what you're going to need to do. And that's that. So then it's up to the student, how committed they are, and what they're really going to put into trying to push forward and pursue it.
Well, what level of your faith, how did your faith help you? I mean, because you use the word demoralizing, you say that the process can be demoralizing. And so where did your faith step in right there?
Just, well, honestly, when you were asking me the question, I really just thought about the reality of it. Like, you know, sometimes you're just going to be so crushed that, you know, you just have to cry. And then sometimes you start to question yourself. And in those moments, that's when I would really draw upon my faith, and also through prayer and understanding. But I think that those moments when you're so down and you're just like, can I even do this? And then God really reminds you, it's not like, can you do this? Like, this is what you were put here for. That's what pushed me to propel. And even moments, there were, like, when I was in undergrad, there was a time when I was thinking, well, maybe I could just do something else instead. And nothing else clicked. Like, when you know that, when you're like really following in your purpose, like when you're really following what God's plan is for you, there's like a fire in it. Like you feel it moving. Now, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be easy, but like you feel it. And with these other things that I tried to pursue, I didn't feel it. And also, I think too, sometimes when you get kind of distracted, and when you start to veer too far off, this is my personal opinion. I believe that that's also sometimes when you start to experience these other things like depression and more anxiety and things like that. And so I noticed, just like in retrospect, parts of my life where I was at those low places, I was really getting off of the right path.
And so your purpose, and it does, purpose has a voice. It speaks to you. And I read something a couple of weeks ago, and it really resonated with me. And I've been telling people this ever since, is that disaster tried to kill me, but purpose would not let me die. And I love that. I love that, because we can all look back in our lives and we can see devastating things. We can hear devastating things that could just, I mean, it's like ice water on you. Hallelujah. But down on the inside, your purpose does not go out. That fire is in there. You just got to, it's smoldering sometimes, and you just got to get that kindling back in there so that fire can blow back up. And that really is what keeps us as human beings, and certainly as people of color, keep going. We have to have that. And you have a transatlantic family that pushes you. And of your parents, which of the two have pushed you and encouraged you, and I know who has nurtured you the most, but who spoke to you and said, you will do this, Lisa?
That is good. They both have their own ways of speaking, so I'll give them both some credit. But I think I am going to still end up landing on my mom. But so my dad's style is just straight shooter. He's just going to spit it at you. There's not going to be any cushion. So it's just, you're smart enough to do this. What are you doing? Nobody can stop you. Get out there and succeed. You're the only one that will hold you back. And that's rough.
It's him.
It's positive, but you know, my mom is more so, Lisa, I know you could do this. I've been praying about this. I know that you have the strength. Wow, you're so capable. And her sitting down and having conversations with me about medicine and allowing me to actually kind of dialogue with her, almost as if I'm like a colleague instead of somebody who's not even in medical school yet, and just giving me these opportunities to I would say, build my confidence in medicine and be involved. And then her constant just like push along the way, I would say definitely did a lot as well.
So did you work in your mom's clinic?
I worked with both of them.
Oh, okay. Okay, what's the difference in their clinics? You know,
my mom's clinic, like I said, I would say hers is a little bit more intimate. And then, like I said, she has a very much like auntie approach. So somebody might come in and maybe they're coming in because they have a cold, but she can also see, well, you know, they're hungry. Why is it that they're not eating at home? They look disheveled today. Normally they've, you know, been looking put together. What's going on? Did they lose their job? Is everything okay at home? Like, she really takes that time to dig into kind of like those psychosocial factors. And now I'm thinking maybe it also has to do with the fact that she was actually a sociology major in undergraduate. So that helps. And then I think just kind of she has a very warm, loving nature. So that's kind of her style at her office. My dad's office, I guess you could say he's a little more comedic, but he's like also quicker. So he has little like dances he'll do for the patients. He has these extravagant cowboy hats that he'll wear to the office and stuff like that. But when you're seeing him, it's gonna be a lot quicker. I think that he still dives into some of those things, but he doesn't dive into them in the same way that my mom does.
Mm-hmm. So it's marvelous that they both have their own clinics.
Yeah, I think initially they practiced together, and then they're like, "Nah, we gotta do it how we want."
I can see him saying, "Hurry, hurry, 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 hurry!"
Oh yes. He's always paging someone. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so wonderful. Tell me about your siblings. What do they do, and how have they encouraged or impacted you in your life journey?
Okay. I was going to start with my oldest sibling, but I want to start instead with my older brother, who is the second of us. He told me this story when I was still in college, undergraduate. He told me that when I was little, maybe I was like 4 or 3, he fell and he cut himself really bad. I think part of his toe might have come off or something. It's something kind of extreme, like there was some blood. And he said that my parents were even a little bit like anxious about it, and they were trying to like rush and see how they could help him. But he said that I just came up to him as a little 3 or 4-year-old, and I was like something somehow like, it's okay, you're gonna be all right, or something.
Yeah.
I patted him, and then somehow I got either I don't know if I got a Band-Aid, but I got something for him because I don't want to, oversell the story, but I think he said Band-Aid. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I gave that to him, and then I was just rubbing him, and I said, "You'll be okay, you'll be okay." And so he told me like ever since that moment for him, so that was when he was probably about like 7 or 8 or something. Then he was like, "I knew that you were going to be a doctor. Like, it's never been a question for me."
Great.
Yeah, so that really, really motivated me. So
what does he do?
Yeah, sorry, I was about to get into that. So he's in the film industry. He actually recently produced his first short film, and he's won some honors for that this year, and he's going to be attending a couple of film festivals for that this year. So that's really awesome for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then my oldest sister, my older sister and my youngest brother are in a bunch of things. So she's into real estate. She also sells medical insurance. She's like a medical insurance agent. And then she also works with like a financial firm. And then she's also involved in public health. We actually work together quite a bit doing like different public health initiatives in Los Angeles County. For marginalized communities. We have like a free resource center where people can come for health and wellness classes, to get enrolled in insurance and all kinds of things like that. So that's what she's doing. And she's encouraged me too. Sometimes she has kind of the approach that my dad has, but there'll be something she always says to me is like, "You're one of the smartest people I know. You just make this stuff look easy. Yeah, you can do it." Like, you never question yourself. Yeah. And then my youngest brother, like I said, he's involved in so much. So he actually helps me with More Out of Life. He's a marketing director, and then he's also involved with financial firm, and then he's a sports agent. So recently he's been licensed to do I guess like brokering deals or agent deals with international basketball, with women's basketball, and then I think, and like the lower leagues in the US. And then I think he's working on getting his license for the NBA soon.
Wonderful.
Well. Yeah, and he definitely encourages me a lot. We have like, I guess, the most playful relationship. So he'll dash me with some jabs, but then at the end of the day, he always tells me that he believes in me, and that there's no way that I won't succeed.
Well, you have such an affirming family of origin. There's just no way that you won't succeed. I'm so proud of you. It makes me feel good to say, "Oh, that's my niece." Lisa, tell us about your name.
Yes. So my name is Lisa Adora Anakwenze. So Adora means it's actually usually a name that's given to the first daughter, but it means the people's daughter. So like one that uplifts the community, one that does right by the community, so the community really embraces and loves her. And that's actually, I actually wrote about my name in my personal statement for medical
Yeah.
school as well, because I feel like it does really align with really everything I feel that I'm been put here and I'm called to do. And traditionally, it's not just an African thing, but I'll speak for African culture, Igbo culture. The name that you're given is supposed to align with what you do. So who you are. So some cultures even believe that if you aren't living up to your name, then you better change your name. An example of that is even with my older brother Chuck. His Igbo name, his full name is Chukwudi, but for a while he didn't tell people Chukwudi because he felt like he had to step into its full meaning.
And so now he is Chakudi.
Chukwudi.
That's going to be hard to move from Chuck to Chakudi, but we can do it. But I think that that's really wonderful, because then your name is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's great. And so you just pretty much told us that how you knew you told us how your brother knew, and when did you know that medicine was going to be your path?
So I guess I'm a interesting person because I think I'd say also like you, I like to do many things. So from a very young age, I always told myself I'm going to be a doctor, a scientist, a teacher, and an artist. And I feel like throughout my life, I've been able to live out those things, except for I'm not a doctor yet. And so I basically my whole life, I was telling myself that. Like I said, the only times when I started to question it a bit or see, well, maybe I should do something else, that was in like undergrad time and when I was just kind of fighting to get into medical school. But I always knew that it was my calling, and it was really just kind of just re-strengthened. So the more I interacted with patients, the more I learned about the healthcare system, the more I learned about biology and all of that.
Well, this has just been great. Now you have just recently become engaged.
Yes.
Do you have a date for marriage? And tell us a little bit about him.
All right. So he's Igbo as well. So the same tribe as my dad. We met at it was actually like a cultural event. And we had a dance off. So that was our first encounter. So that was a nice, wholesome meeting. He's a very structured type of person, but he also knows how to relax and have a good time. And he's very, very supportive of me and my goals. And he also encourages me along the way. As far as dates, so we're gonna have a traditional Nigerian wedding, and then we'll also have like an American style wedding. So for the traditional Nigerian wedding, we're thinking this December, around December 27th. And then potentially the American wedding, I'm still pushing for January. He's pushing for like around Easter time. So we still have to work that out. But it should be coming soon.
We're going to talk about that piece right there. Okay. Well, I am so happy. Oh, and he's also in medicine, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah. So he works in mental health, and then he's in school for nursing.
Great, great, great. And so the future is going to really help the community as it relates to you and your future husband. And I'm so proud of you. We are. And we know that you're going to be great.
Thank you.
Because you're great already. Yeah, you're great already. Yes, you are. And we love you. You bring Whenever you come in, you bring light. So
Oh,
here comes Lisa. We actually get all excited. Lisa's coming. Okay. And so we're so grateful for you giving us this opportunity to kind of delve a little bit more into you, who you are, and how you have held on to who God made you to be, and growing in your relationship with Him just through the things that we suffer. If we stop along the way, we stop our growth. But for you to, if you're gonna grow, you have to keep going. And we're just so looking forward to 2024. We- We're so looking forward to it. And we're so grateful for you sharing your story with us on today. Thank you so much, Lisa Adora. Say it.
Adora.
Lisa Adora.
Yes.
Daughter of the community.
Yes.
Daughter of the world. Oh, we're so excited for you. Thank you, dear.
So much. And thank you so much for this time again. I really appreciate it. And again, I love what you're doing. It's so inspiring.
Thank you. Tell your mom and dad. Just tell everybody out there I say hello.
Okay, I will.
God bless you.
God bless you too.